The metal floors of the Void Reaper shook as the massive ship moved through space. In the command room, Commander Vextal looked at the job details on his screen. His 4 red eyes scanned the information while his clawed fingers tapped on the metal desk. 37 humans, he said to himself. Only 37. The job seemed too easy. A client from the galactic hegemony wanted a small human research station destroyed. The humans were growing crops on some far planet called Kepler 442b. No weapons, no soldiers, just scientists playing in the dirt. Vextal had been killing for 40 years. His mercenary company, the Crimson Talons, was known across the galaxy. Governments hired them when they needed problems to disappear. Other mercenaries feared them. Pirates ran when they saw their ships. But this job felt strange. The client offered 10 million credits for killing 37 crop farmers. That was more money than most wars paid. Vextal had asked why the price was so high. The client said they wanted complete silence and no witnesses. Sir? Lieutenant Korth entered the room. The tall alien's green skin looked pale under the ship's lights. You wanted to see me? Yes. Vextal turned his chair around. I have a job for your unit. Easy work, good pay. Korth straightened up. His unit was not the best on the ship. They handled simple jobs while the elite soldiers fought real wars. What kind of job, sir? Humans. 37 of them on a farming planet. Kill them all. Leave. Nothing alive. Humans? Korth looked confused. Just humans? Just humans. Vextal sent the files to Korth's tablet. They grow food and study plants. No weapons bigger than farming tools. Your 12 soldiers should finish this in 4 hours. Korth looked at his tablet. The pictures showed green fields and simple buildings. Humans walked around carrying plants and soil samples. They looked soft and weak. Most wore simple clothes. Some were old, a few looked very young. The payment is generous, Korth said, reading the numbers. Very generous. Too generous for such easy work. Vextal stood up and walked to the big window. Stars moved past them in white lines. But money is money. Take your ship. Kill them. Come back. Yes, sir. Korth was about to leave when he stopped. Sir, why do they want these humans dead? Vextal turned around. His red eyes looked cold. Does it matter? They are just humans. On the planet below, Captain Dae-Ho Kim stood in the middle of a green field. The plants around him grew in perfect rows. The morning sun made the leaves shine with water drops. He breathed in the clean air and smiled. The corn is growing well, said Dr. Jiwoo Park as she walked up to him. She held a tablet with plant data. Her black hair was tied back and dirt covered her hands from working. In the soil, better than we hoped, Dae-Ho agreed. He was a tall man with kind eyes and strong hands. Earth will be happy with these results. If we can send them. Engineer So-Young Lee joined them, wiping oil from her fingers. The communication array is acting up again. I can send messages inside the system, but nothing reaches Earth. Dae-Ho nodded. Their research station was far from Earth and other human colonies. They had chosen this place because it was quiet and safe. No pirates, no wars, just them and their work. We knew this job would be lonely when we took it, he said. How are the others doing? Good spirits, Jiwoo said. Minho fixed the water system yesterday. Hyunwoo is excited about his plant samples. Yoonji says the security systems are all working fine. Security systems for a farm? So-Young laughed. Sometimes I think Earth worries too much. Dae-Ho did not laugh. He looked up at the blue sky and the 2 small moons. Something felt different today. Wrong somehow. His old training from the Earth Defense Force made him notice things others missed. So-Young, how long to fix the communication array? Maybe 2 days, why? Just wondering. He looked at the research station. 37 people lived and worked there. Scientists, engineers, farmers, and support staff. Good people doing important work. Run some tests on it today, please. Sure, but... A loud beep came from Jiwoo's tablet. She looked at the screen and frowned. Motion sensors are picking up something in orbit. Probably a supply ship, So Young said, but we are not expecting one for 3 weeks. Daeho felt ice in his stomach. Show me. Jiwoo tapped her tablet. The screen showed a red dot moving around their planet. It is big. Much bigger than a supply ship. How big? Maybe a military ship or what? Or a mercenary ship. The 3 humans stood in the field looking at the red dot on the screen. The corn plants moved gently in the wind around them. Everything looked peaceful and safe, but Daeho knew better. He had been a soldier before becoming a farmer. He knew the look of danger when he saw it. Alert everyone, he said quietly. Tell them to come to the main building, now. You think they are hostile? Jiwoo asked. I hope not, but we prepare anyway. They walked quickly back to the research station. The buildings looked small and simple. White walls, clear windows, and solar panels on the roofs. Nothing that looked dangerous or military. Inside the main building, 37 humans gathered in the meeting room. They were scientists, engineers, doctors, and support staff. Most had never been in a fight. Some were old. Others were very young. All of them looked worried. There is a ship in orbit, Daeho told them. We do not know who they are or what they want. Until we know more, we stay together and stay alert. Could it be pirates? Asked Young Suhan, a young technician. Maybe, or mercenaries, or just a lost trader. What do we do? Asked Dr. Sumin Kim, an older woman who studied human behavior. Daeho looked around the room. These people trusted him to keep them safe. They had come here to grow food and study plants. They did not expect to fight for their lives. But Daeho remembered his military training, and he noticed something others might miss. These were not ordinary civilians. Jiwoo had been a combat medic before becoming a scientist. So Young had built military bases before working on farms. Yoonji had been a security officer. Minho had worked on military equipment. They looked like simple farmers and scientists, but many of them had other skills. Dangerous skills they had hoped never to use again. We prepare for the worst and hope for the best, Daeho said. So Young, what weapons do we have? Just hunting rifles and farming tools. Yoonji, how good are our defenses? Basic barriers and motion sensors. Enough to stop animals, not soldiers. Then we get creative. Daeho looked at each person in the room. We are not soldiers anymore, but we remember how to think like soldiers. And we know this place better than anyone who might come here. Outside, the red dot on the sensors moved closer to the planet. Inside the research station, 37 humans began to prepare for something they hoped would never come. They were just farmers and scientists. But they were also human, and that, as the galaxy would soon learn, made all the difference. Lieutenant Korth looked down at the planet through his ship's window. The green and blue world looked peaceful and quiet. Too quiet for a place that would soon see death. 12 soldiers against 37 farmers, said Corporal Zekran, checking his plasma rifle. This will be over fast. Easy money, agreed Private Thulvar, a huge alien with gray skin and 4 arms. I almost feel bad taking payment for this. Korth nodded but said nothing. Something about this job felt wrong. The client had paid too much money. The humans lived too far from help. And Commander Vextal had seemed worried? No, that was impossible. Vextal feared nothing. Landing in 5 minutes, called the pilot. Sensors show the humans are all in their main building, probably scared. The mercenary ship landed in the field next to the research station. Dust and smoke rose around it as the engines shut down. The building looked even smaller from up close. White walls, simple design, solar panels on the roof, like a school or hospital. Remember, Korth told his soldiers as they left the ship. Kill them all. Leave no witnesses. Make it quick and clean. The 12 mercenaries walked toward the building. They carried heavy weapons and wore thick armor. Each one had fought in many battles. They were professionals who killed for money and did it well. But as they got closer to the building, something felt wrong. Sir, said Private Multak, looking at his scanner. I am not reading all 37 humans. What do you mean? The building shows maybe 20 people. Where are the others? Korth stopped walking. He looked around the research station. Fields of green plants, small storage buildings, equipment yards with farming machines. Everything looked normal and peaceful. Spread out, he ordered. Check the other buildings. They might be hiding. The mercenaries split into 3 groups. 4 soldiers went to the storage buildings. 4 more went to the equipment yard. Korth took 4 soldiers toward the main building. That was when the humans struck. Inside the main building, Daeho watched the mercenaries through the security cameras. 12 soldiers, he said into his radio. Heavy weapons, military training. Copy that, came Eunji's voice through the speaker. She was hidden in the storage area with 5 other humans. We see 4 coming our way. Equipment yard team ready, said Minho from his position near the farming machines. Daeho looked around the room. 15 humans stood with him, holding farming tools and the few hunting rifles they had. Dr. Jiwoo checked her medical supplies. She would need them soon. Remember, Daeho said quietly, we are not trying to win a war. We just need to survive long enough to call for help. But he knew help would not come. They were alone. First group entering storage area, Yoonji reported. The 4 mercenaries walked into the storage building carefully. Their weapons were ready. Their sensors showed humans inside, but they could not see anyone. Hello? Called Corporal Victar. We know you are here. Come out and we will make this quick. Silence. The mercenaries moved deeper into the building. Shelves full of supplies surrounded them. Bags of seeds, farming chemicals, and tools filled the space. Perfect places to hide. There, whispered Private Gashlek, pointing his rifle at a row of shelves. They moved forward slowly. Behind the shelves, they found nothing. But above them, hidden in the ceiling space, Yoonji smiled. She had learned to hide during her time as a security officer. These aliens were good soldiers, but they thought like soldiers. They looked for enemies at their own level. She dropped the modified crop sprayer on the first mercenary. The liquid inside was not water. It was concentrated fertilizer mixed with cleaning chemicals. Very bad for alien skin. Corporal Victar screamed as the liquid burned through his armor. The other 3 soldiers spun around looking for the attacker. Above us! One shouted. But Yoonji was already gone, and the other humans were moving. Young Suhan came out from behind a shelf holding a nail gun loaded with metal spikes. He was not trying to kill, just hurt enough to stop them. The spikes went through armor joints and alien flesh. 2 more mercenaries went down. The last one, Private Gashlek, ran for the door, but he found it blocked by an old woman holding a farming tool. Dr. Soo-min Kim, age 62. She said calmly, I study how minds work under stress. Your mind is very stressed right now. She turned on a small speaker. The sound that came out was recordings of human children laughing and playing, but mixed in were sounds of human crying and screaming. The combination made no sense to alien ears. Gashlek stopped running. The sounds hurt his brain. Human emotions were too complex, too strange. Fear filled his mind. Dr. Kim hit him with the farming tool. Not hard enough to kill, but hard enough to stop him. Storage area secure, Yoonji reported over the radio. 4 enemies down. No human losses. At the equipment yard, things went differently. The 4 mercenaries there found Minho working on a large farming machine. He was humming a soft song and did not seem to notice them. You there, human, called Sergeant Braxon. Stop what you're doing. Minho looked up and smiled. Oh, hello. Are you here about the supply order? We are here to kill you. That is unfortunate. Minho went back to his work. Could you wait a moment? I am almost finished. The mercenaries looked at each other. This human was acting very strange. Most people screamed or ran when soldiers pointed weapons at them. Stop working or we shoot, Braxon said. Okay. Minho put down his tools and stepped away from the machine. That was when the mercenaries saw what he had been doing. The farming machine now had sharp metal pieces welded to the front, and it was running. Minho pressed a button on a small remote. The machine came to life. moving forward on its own. Automatic harvester, Minho explained, as the mercenaries jumped out of the way. I changed it a little bit. The machine chased the aliens around the yard. Its metal teeth were designed to cut plants, but they worked just as well on armor and alien flesh. 2 mercenaries tried to shoot it, but their weapons just made small holes. The machine kept coming. "Turn it off," Braxon yelled. "I would," Minho said, still humming his song. "But I threw away the stop button. One mercenary was not fast enough. The machine caught him and its metal teeth tore through his leg. He screamed and fell down. Minho immediately ran to help him. He used cloth to stop the bleeding and gave the alien water to drink. "Why are you helping me?" the wounded mercenary asked. "Because you are hurt," Minho said simply. Then he tied the alien's hands with rope. "But you are still my enemy." The other 3 mercenaries stared at this human who had hurt their friend and then saved his life. It made no sense. "Equipment yard secure," Minho reported. 4 enemies captured. 1 needs medical help. Korth heard the reports from his soldiers and felt cold fear in his stomach. 2 groups down. 8 trained killers beaten by farmers with crop sprayers and farming machines. "This is impossible," he said to his remaining 3 soldiers. They stood outside the main building where most of the humans were hiding. Through the windows they could see people moving inside. "Just kill them all," said Private Thulvar, raising his big rifle. "Burn the building down." "Wait." Korth looked at his scanner again. "Where are the other humans?" "We found 23. 37 minus 23 is 14, said Private Griktar. 14 humans are still missing. As if they had heard him, speakers around the research station came to life. A young human voice spoke in clear galactic common language. "Hello, alien soldiers. This is Yoon Woo Choi, research assistant. I am 22 years old and I study plant growth." "I have never killed anyone," the voice paused. Then soft human music began to play. It sounded peaceful and sad. "But today I learned something new," the voice continued. "I learned that humans can be very creative when people try to hurt their friends." The music changed. Now it was children, singing. But the words were in human language that the universal translators could not handle. The meaning was lost, but the emotion was clear. Joy mixed with sadness. Love mixed with anger. "You came here to kill us," Hyunwoo said, "but we do not want to die, so we will fight, and we will win, not because we are strong, but because we are human." The music got louder. Other sounds joined it. Laughter, crying, singing, screaming, all mixed together in ways that made alien minds hurt. Korth and his soldiers covered their ears. Human emotions were too complex, too strange. The sounds made them feel things they did not understand. "Make it stop," Thulvar yelled. "I cannot find the speakers," Griktar said, shooting at random places. That was when the main building's doors opened. 15 humans came out, led by Captain Dae-ho Kim. They carried farming tools, hunting rifles, and makeshift weapons. They did not look like soldiers. They looked like ordinary people who had been pushed too far, but their eyes were cold and determined. "Surrender," Dae-ho said simply. "Your friends are captured. You are outnumbered. Give up and we will not hurt you." Korth laughed, but it sounded forced. 4 aliens against 15 humans, we have better weapons." "Yes," Dae-ho agreed. "But do you have better ideas?" Before Korth could answer, something hit him from behind. He turned to see Jiwoo holding a modified plant growth sprayer. The liquid inside was not poison. It was fast-growing seed mixed with water. Commander Vextal stared at the message on his screen. His 4 red eyes read the words again and again, but they still made no sense. 12 soldiers defeated, all captured, requesting immediate evacuation. Lieutenant Korth had been a good officer for 15 years. He had never lost a battle. He had never asked for help. He had never been defeated by civilians. But now he was prisoner of 37 human farmers. "This is impossible," Vextal said to his bridge crew. Humans do not fight like this. Sir, said his communications officer, Lieutenant Korth is requesting to speak with you. Put him through. The screen changed to show Korth sitting in what looked like a medical room. White walls, clean beds, medical equipment. A human woman in the background was treating wounded mercenaries with professional skill. Commander, Korth said quietly, we need to talk. Explain yourself, Lieutenant. How did farmers defeat my soldiers? Korth looked tired and confused. Sir, they are not just farmers. They think differently than us. They use things we never thought of as weapons. And they what? They show mercy while they hurt us. It makes no sense. Vextal felt anger, burning in his chest. You lost to farmers because they were nice to you? No, sir, you do not understand. They fight like nothing I have ever seen. They turn farming tools into traps. They use plant chemicals as weapons. They make sounds that hurt our minds. And then they give medical help to the soldiers. They just defeated. Behind Korth, the human woman looked up from her work. She was treating a mercenary's burned arm with gentle hands. Sir, Korth continued, these humans are dangerous. Not because they are strong or have good weapons, but because they think in ways we cannot predict. Vextal ended the call. He sat in his command chair and thought about what he had heard. Then he made a decision that would change everything. Prepare my ship, he told his crew. Get my best, soldiers ready. We go down there ourselves. Sir, how many soldiers should we take? All of them. 50 of my elite guards. The best weapons we have. We will show these humans what real warriors can do. On the planet below, Deho watched the alien ship through his telescope. It was much bigger than the first one, much more dangerous. They are coming with more soldiers, he told the other humans gathered in the meeting room. Many more. How many? Asked Jiwoo. Maybe 50, all elite fighters. The humans looked at each other. They had been lucky against 12 soldiers. 50 would be much harder. We cannot fight 50 soldiers the same way, said So Young. We need better plans. We need better weapons, added Unji. Deho nodded. Then we make them. We have 12 hours before they land. We use every minute. The humans split up to work on different projects. Jiwoo went to her laboratory to prepare new biological weapons. So Young went to the power station to plan electrical traps. Minho began changing more farming machines into weapons, but the most important work was done by the team no one expected. Dr. Soo-min Kim, the old psychologist, gathered 5 other humans in the communication room. They were going to fight a different kind of battle. Humans understand emotion, she explained to her team. We feel many different things at the same time, but most aliens feel only one emotion at a time, fear or anger or happiness, never all together. How does that help us? Asked Hyunwoo. We make them feel things they cannot handle. We broadcast sounds and images that confuse their minds. We make them afraid of things that are not there. Young-soo looked worried. Is that fair? Dr. Kim smiled sadly. They came here to kill us, Young-soo. Fair stopped mattering when they pointed weapons at our friends. Commander Vextal landed with 50 elite soldiers. These were not the second-level fighters like Korth's unit. These were killers who had fought in real wars. Veterans of 100 battles. Surround the building, Vextal ordered. No one gets out alive. But as they moved toward the research station, something felt wrong. The place looked different than before. Strange poles had been put up around the buildings. Wires ran between them. The farming fields had been changed somehow with deep holes and strange mounds of dirt. Sir, said Captain Mordak, looking at his scanner. I am reading electrical activity everywhere. Much more than a simple farming station should have. Probably just their power systems. No, sir. This looks like a minefield, but made of electricity instead of explosives. Vextal stopped walking. He looked at the research station with new eyes. The humans had used their time well. Careful advance, he ordered. Watch for traps. The mercenaries moved forward slowly. That was when the psychological warfare began. Speakers, hidden around the area, came to life. But this time it was not just human music or children's voices. It was something much worse. The sounds were recordings of alien death screams, mixed with human laughter. Battle cries from different species, mixed with human crying. Victory songs mixed with funeral music. The combination made no sense to alien minds. How could humans laugh while others died? How could they cry while celebrating? How could they feel happiness and sadness at the same time? "Turn off those speakers," Vextal yelled. His soldiers tried to find them, but the sounds came from everywhere and nowhere. Every time they destroyed one speaker, two more started playing. Then the images began. Small screens hidden in the fields began showing pictures. Videos of alien families pulled from the soldiers' personal devices. Their homes, their children, their loved ones. But mixed with these personal images were pictures of human families. Human children playing. Human parents working. Human grandparents telling stories. The message was clear without words. We know who you are. We know what you love. We could hurt them, but we choose not to. We are better than you. Several mercenaries stopped walking. Looking at the images of their families mixed with images of human families made them think, made them question why they were here. "Focus!" Vextal screamed. "Ignore the psychological tricks." But it was too late. Fear had entered his soldiers' minds. That was when So Young activated the electrical traps. The research station's power grid had been turned into a weapon. Wires hidden under the dirt carried electricity that could stun but not kill. When the first mercenary stepped on one, the shock threw him backward. "Electrical field," Captain Mordak warned. "The whole area is electrified." The mercenaries tried to find safe paths through the field, but the humans had been clever. Every path led to more traps. Some electrical, some mechanical, some biological. Specialist Kuixara stepped on what looked like solid ground. Instead, he sank into a hole filled with fast-growing vines that wrapped around his legs. The vines were not poisonous, but they held him tight while electrical current ran through them. "Help me," he screamed. 3 soldiers moved to help him. That was when Jiwoo's biological weapons activated. Spores released into the air around the trapped soldiers. Not deadly spores, but ones that caused hallucinations. The soldiers began seeing things that were not there. Dead comrades, monsters, their own fears made real. "They are in my head," one soldier cried, shooting at shadows. "Make it stop," screamed another, falling to his knees. Vextal watched his elite soldiers panic and run from invisible enemies. These were warriors who had faced death without fear. Now they were running from plant spores and electrical wires. "Sir," Captain Mordak said, his voice shaking, "we should retreat, plan a different attack." "No, we are elite soldiers. We do not run from farmers." But even as he said it, Vextal felt fear growing in his own mind. The sounds, the images, the traps, they were all designed to make him think and feel things he did not want to think and feel. That was when the humans attacked. They came from directions the mercenaries had not expected. From underground tunnels, from inside the farming machines, from places that should have been empty. But this time, the humans were different. They moved with military precision. Their weapons were better. Their tactics were smarter. Daeho led the attack with 15 other humans. They used the confusion caused by the traps and psychological warfare to strike at exactly the right moment. The modified farming machines rolled forward like tanks. The crop sprayers shot chemicals that burned through armor. The electrical weapons stunned soldiers long enough for humans to capture them. But the most terrifying thing was how the humans worked together. They moved like they had trained together for years. Each person knew exactly what to do. "Fall back," Vextal ordered. "Regroup at the landing zone." But falling back was not easy. The humans had turned the entire area into a maze of traps and weapons. Every step was dangerous. Every shadow might hide an enemy. By the time the mercenaries reached their ship, 20 of them were captured. 15 more were wounded. Only 15 soldiers were still ready to fight. Commander Vextal, leader of the most feared mercenary company in the galaxy, sat in his ship and tried to understand what had happened. 50 elite soldiers, the best weapons money could buy, years of training and experience defeated by farmers with plant chemicals and farming machines. "Sir," his communications officer said quietly, "the humans are broadcasting a message." "Put it through." The screen showed Captain Daeho Kim standing in front of the research station. Behind him, captured mercenaries were being treated by human. 3 hours after the failed attack, Commander Vextal received a message that made his blood turn cold. "Sir," his communications officer said, voice shaking, "we have incoming ships. 5 mercenary companies are asking permission to dock." "What? I did not call for help." "No, sir, they came because word is spreading." Vextal looked at the officer with confused eyes. "What word?" "That the Crimson Talons are losing to human farmers." The command bridge fell silent. In 40 years of fighting, no one had ever said those words about Vextal's company. The Crimson Talons did not lose. They definitely did not lose to civilians. "Let them dock," Vextal said quietly. "We will show them these humans are not ordinary farmers." But as the other mercenary ships arrived, Vextal began to understand something terrible. The other commanders had not come to help. They had come to watch, to see if the stories were true. Captain Ralthus of the Bloodhunters laughed when she saw Vextal. "So the great Crimson Talons need help with some crop growers?" "You do not understand," Vextal said. "These humans are different." "Different? How, do they have secret weapons, hidden soldiers?" "No. They have ideas. They think in ways we cannot predict." The other commanders looked at each other and smiled. Commander Vextal, feared across the galaxy, was afraid of human farmers. "Show us these dangerous farmers," said Colonel Brixazon of the Iron Fist Company. On the planet below, the humans had used the 3-hour break to prepare new surprises, but this time they were not just making weapons. They were making art. Dr. Soo-Min Kim stood in the research station's main room, surrounded by screens and speakers. She had been working on something special, something that would break alien minds. "Are you sure this will work?" asked Hyunwoo. "Human psychology is my life's work," Dr. Kim said. "I know how our minds work, and I know how alien minds work differently." She pointed to the screens around the room. Each one showed different images: family photos from the captured mercenaries, pictures of their homeworlds, videos of their children playing. "We are going to show them something no alien can understand," she explained. "We are going to show them human love mixed with human war." Young Soo looked confused. "How is that a weapon?" "Watch and learn." Meanwhile, Jiwoo was working in her laboratory on something even more disturbing. She had studied the blood samples from wounded mercenaries and learned about their biology. "Each alien species has different fear chemicals in their brains," she explained to So Young. "If I can make the right spores, I can make them afraid of specific things." "What things?" "Things that do not exist, things their minds create. The worst fear is fear of the unknown." So Young nodded and went back to her own work. She was connecting the research station's computers to the mercenary ships above, not to steal information, but to give information. "If they want to know about humans," she said to herself, "I will teach them." The 5 mercenary companies landed together. Over 200 elite soldiers, the best fighters money could buy. They came with heavy weapons, battle armor, and years of experience. They expected to find a small research station defended by scared farmers. Instead, they found something that looked like a nightmare. The research station had been changed completely. The white buildings were now covered in strange symbols and pictures. Poles with wires and lights stood everywhere. The farming fields had been turned into a maze of trenches and barriers. But the most disturbing thing was the sound. Music played from hidden speakers. But it was not normal music. It was human voices singing lullabies mixed with battle songs. Children laughing mixed with adults crying. Love songs mixed with funeral dirges. To alien ears, it made no sense. How could humans feel happiness and sadness at the same time? How could they sing about love and death together? How could they laugh while crying? "What is this noise?" asked Captain Ralthus, covering her ears. Psychological warfare, Vextal said. They use human emotions as weapons. The mercenaries moved forward carefully, but with each step, the sounds got worse. And the images got stranger. Screens hidden in the ground began showing videos. Human families eating dinner together. Human soldiers fighting in wars. Human doctors saving lives. Human mothers holding babies, all mixed together, all at the same time. The message was clear. Humans can love and kill. They can heal and hurt. They can create and destroy, all at once. This is insane, whispered Colonel Brixazon. How can they think like this? That was when the real attack began. The humans did not come out fighting this time. Instead, they came out talking. Daeho's voice came from every speaker around the battlefield, but he was not giving orders or making threats. He was telling a story. My name is Daeho Kim, his voice said calmly. I was born on Earth 43 years ago. My mother was a teacher. My father was a doctor. They taught me to help people. The mercenaries stopped walking. Something about the humans' voice made them listen. When I was 20, I joined the Earth Defense Force. I learned to kill people. I was good at it. Very good. Images appeared on the screens, pictures of Daeho in military uniform, videos of him training with weapons, reports of battles he had won. I killed 87 people in 6 years of war. Each one had a name. Each one had a family. I remember all of them. The mercenaries looked at each other. This human was not a farmer. He was a soldier, a killer. But then the war ended, and I chose to grow food instead of taking lives. I chose to heal instead of hurt. I chose to build instead of destroy. More images appeared. Daeho working in fields, helping sick people, teaching children about plants. Do you understand? His voice asked. I can kill you all, but I choose not to. That choice is what makes me human. The psychological impact was devastating. These aliens had come to kill a farmer, but they were really trying to kill a trained soldier who had chosen to become a farmer. Every human here has the same story, Daeho continued. Jiwoo was a combat medic. She saved lives while people shot at her. So Young built military bases in war zones. Yoonji caught spies and criminals. Minho repaired weapons in the middle of battles. The screens showed pictures of each human in their old jobs. Soldiers, medics, engineers, security officers, all of them had been killers who chose to become farmers. We are not farmers who learn to fight, Daeho's voice said. We are fighters who learn to farm. And today, you made us remember our old skills. That was when the real weapons activated. Jiwoo's spores filled the air. But these were not random hallucination chemicals. These were targeted fear inducers. Each alien species began seeing their own worst nightmares. The hegemony. Soldiers saw images of their home world burning. The mercenaries from the Outer Rim saw visions of their families being hurt. The veterans from the core wars saw ghosts of enemies they had killed. But the humans had programmed one specific fear for all of them, the fear of human unpredictability. Every alien began seeing the same vision. Humans who looked peaceful but carried hidden weapons. Humans who smiled while planning violence. Humans who helped their enemies while defeating them. Make it stop, screamed Captain Ralthus. I cannot, Vextal yelled back. They are in our heads. The electrical traps activated next, but So Young had made them smarter this time. The electricity did not just shock, it carried information, data from human history, pictures of human wars, videos of human creativity. Every time an alien got shocked, their brain was filled with images of what humans could do. Weapons that destroyed planets, medicines that saved billions, art that inspired souls, wars that lasted generations. The message was clear. Humans are capable of anything. Colonel Brixazon fell to his knees, overwhelmed by the visions of human possibility. They are monsters, he whispered. Beautiful, terrible monsters. The battle lasted only 30 minutes. 200 elite mercenaries were defeated by 37 human researchers, not through superior weapons or numbers, but through superior thinking. The humans had turned science into warfare. They had used psychology as a weapon. They had made the aliens defeat themselves by showing them what humanity really was. When it was over, the mercenaries sat in the fields staring at nothing. Their minds could not process what they had experienced. Humans who could feel love and hate at the same time. Humans who could kill and heal with equal skill. Humans who chose mercy when they could choose destruction. Daiho walked among the defeated aliens, checking on wounded soldiers. Jiwoo followed him, giving medical care to enemies who had tried to kill her. "I do not understand," Vextal said to Daiho. "You could have killed us all. Why did you not?" Daiho knelt down next to the alien commander. "Because that is not who we choose to be." "But you could have." "Yes, we could have. That is what makes the choice meaningful." Vextal looked into the human's eyes and saw something that terrified him more than any weapon. He saw a killer who had chosen to be kind, a destroyer who had chosen to create, a warrior who had chosen peace. But most terrifying of all, he saw that the choice could be changed at any moment. "Leave our planet," Daiho said quietly. "Take your soldiers and never come back. Tell everyone what you learned here." What did we learn? 6 months after the battle at Kepler 442b, the galaxy had changed. In the Dark Star Cantina, the most dangerous bar in the Outer Rim, a new rule hung on the wall next to the old ones. It was written in 5 different languages, but the message was the same. No contracts against human targets. No exceptions. The cantina owner, a scarred veteran named Grixtat, had written the rule himself. He had been there when Commander Vextal came back from the human planet. He had seen the look in the mercenaries' eyes, fear, pure absolute fear. "Tell the story again," said a young pirate to the old alien sitting at the corner table. The old alien was Korth, former lieutenant of the Crimson Talons. He had been the first to fight the humans. Now he spent his days in cantinas, telling his story to anyone who would buy him drinks. 37 farmers, Korth said quietly. That is all they were supposed to be. 37 soft humans growing food on a peaceful planet. But they were not really farmers, said the pirate. No. They were killers who had chosen to become farmers. Soldiers who had chosen peace. Warriors who had chosen mercy. Korth took a long drink. Do you know what that means? What? It means they could choose to be killers again, at any moment, for any reason. The cantina fell silent. Everyone was listening now. The story of the human farmers had spread across the galaxy, growing bigger with each telling. They turned farming tools into weapons, Korth continued. They used plant chemicals to make us see things that were not there. They used our own emotions against us. How? Asked another listener. Humans feel many emotions at the same time. Love and hate, joy and sadness, hope and fear, all mixed together, but we can only feel one emotion at a time. When they showed us their complexity, our minds could not handle it. An old mercenary captain named Dralvek spoke up. I heard they could read minds. No, Korth shook his head. Worse, they could predict what we would think. They knew how we would react to their traps. They planned for our fear, our anger, our confusion. That is impossible. Is it? Think about it. Humans study everything. They study how plants grow, how machines work, how chemicals react. Why would they not study how minds work? The thought sent chills through the cantina. Humans who could predict alien thoughts. Humans who could turn science into warfare. Humans who could choose mercy or destruction at will. On the planet Nexus Prime, the Galactic Mercenary Guild held an emergency meeting. Representatives from 50 companies sat around a huge table, discussing the human problem. Guildmaster Thork Aal stood at the head of the table, looking at reports from across the galaxy. In 6 months, 17 mercenary companies have refused contracts against human targets. 8 companies have disbanded completely. 3 have gone out of business. Because of one battle? Asked Captain Rixtar of the Void Hunters. Because of one story. The story of farmers who defeated 200 elite soldiers without killing any of them. The room was quiet. These were professional killers who feared nothing, but they all feared the humans now. What makes them so dangerous? Asked Commander Yeldrix. Thorkel activated a holographic display. It showed pictures from the battle at Kepler 442b. Farming equipment turned into weapons, plant chemicals used as biological warfare, electrical grids converted into stunning devices. Intelligence, he said simply. They are intelligent in ways we do not understand. They see potential weapons in everything around them. They see battlefield tactics in farming techniques. They see psychological warfare in children's songs. But they are just one species, protested Captain Rixtar. Are they? Thorkel changed the display to show human colonies across the galaxy. There are over 2 billion humans spread across 300 worlds, if even 1% of them have military training. He did not need to finish the calculation. 20 million trained human soldiers scattered across the galaxy, living as farmers, doctors, teachers, and engineers, all of them capable of turning their peaceful lives into weapons at a moment's notice. What do we do? Asked Commander Yeldrix. We avoid them. We refuse contracts against them. We spread the word. Humans are off limits. On Earth, in the United Human Defense Force headquarters, Admiral Sarah Chen read the reports with growing amazement. 37 agricultural researchers, she said to her aide. 37 people growing corn and studying plants. And they have terrified the entire galactic underworld. Should we be concerned, Admiral? Asked the aide. Concerned? No. Proud? Absolutely. Admiral Chen smiled. Do you know what this means? That our people are safe? More than that, it means our reputation now protects us better than any fleet could. Every pirate, every raider, every mercenary in the galaxy now thinks twice before targeting humans. The aide looked confused. But they were just farmers. No, Admiral Chen said, echoing words spoken 6 months earlier on a distant planet. They were soldiers who chose to become farmers, and when threatened they remembered their training. She turned to look out the window at Earth's blue sky. We train our people well. Military service, medical training, engineering skills, scientific education. We teach them to think creatively and solve problems. Then we send them out to the galaxy to build peaceful lives. And if they are threatened, then they stop being peaceful. But they never stop being human. On Kepler 442b, life had returned to normal. Almost Dayho stood in the same field where he had 6 months ago, watching the corn grow in perfect rows. The plants were taller now, stronger, more productive than ever. The new fertilizer mixture is working well, said Jiwoo, walking up beside him. She carried a tablet with plant data just like before. Good news, Dayho agreed, but his eyes were not on the plants. They were on the horizon, watching for ships that might bring trouble. Any word from Earth about the communication array? Asked So-Young, joining them. Working perfectly now, Dayho said. We can reach Earth anytime we need help. But they all knew the truth. They would probably never need help again. The galaxy had learned to leave humans alone. Sir, called Hyunwoo from the research station. We have a message from the Galactic Agricultural Council. They want to offer us a research grant. How much? 10 million credits, to study advanced farming techniques in hostile environments. The three humans looked at each other and started laughing. The galaxy wanted to pay them to learn how to turn farming into warfare. Should we accept? Asked Jiwoo. Why not? Dayho said. We are farmers, after all. In the research station's communication room, Minho worked on upgrading their systems. He hummed the same soft tune he had hummed during the battle, a simple human lullaby that now made alien mercenaries wake up screaming. How are the upgrades? Coming? Asked Unji. Good. We now have the best communication system in this sector of the galaxy. We can talk to any human colony instantly. In case of emergencies, in case we need to warn other humans about threats, or in case other humans need to warn us. Unji nodded. The human colonies were connected now, sharing information and protecting each other. A network of farmers, doctors, teachers, and engineers who could become soldiers at a moment's notice. "Any interesting messages today?" she asked. Minho smiled. "3 different alien governments want to hire us as military advisors. 5 mercenary companies want to learn our tactics. And the Galactic Peace Council wants to give us an award for innovative conflict resolution." "What did you tell them?" "That we are just farmers who want to grow crops in peace." But as he said it, Minho looked at the weapons they had hidden around the research station. Farming tools that could become military equipment, chemicals that could become biological weapons, knowledge that could become tactical advantages. They were farmers. But they were ready. On the other side of the galaxy, in a dark space station where criminals gathered, a new job posting appeared on the mercenary boards. Target, Human Agricultural Facility. Payment, 50 million credits. Difficulty, extreme. Warning, previous attempts have resulted in total unit loss. Apply only if experienced in impossible missions. The posting stayed up for exactly 3 minutes before it was taken down. Not by the person who posted it, but by the station's management. "No human contracts," the station manager announced. "New rule. Anyone who posts a job against humans gets banned from the station." A young mercenary asked why. The manager, an old warrior with scars from 100 battles, looked at him seriously. "Because humans are not what they seem. They look peaceful, but they are the most dangerous species in the galaxy. More dangerous than the hegemony war fleets? War fleets you can see coming, you can prepare for them. You can fight them with weapons and tactics." The manager shook his head. "But humans fight with ideas. They turn anything into a weapon. They make you defeat yourself. And worst of all, what? They choose to be merciful. Do you know how terrifying it is to face an enemy who could kill you but chooses not to? An enemy who helps you while defeating you? An enemy who shows you kindness while proving they could destroy you?" The young mercenary thought about it and decided he did not want to know.